Good to have you with us today. A crew from our sister channel, RT Arabic, has gained access to a coastal village in Yemen where a desperate humanitarian situation is unfolding. Relentless Saudi-led bombing raids have left large parts of the country in ruins and in dire need of help. We'll show you some of the footage that the team from RT Arabic filmed, a warning you may find the scenes upsetting.
أنا ما في ولا فلوس ولا حاجة دور بالدغدغية ندور به سمن ندور به ولا عندنا مسألة.
أنا حاله لم أنا فلوس ولا أنا أي بيوت ولا مؤدبين حالت أنا حاله ولا أنا أي
مستشفيات لا طب ولا طحن فلوس حق من نتعالج ولا عندنا حاجة.
Well, a recent report by the Famine Early Warning Systems Network, a U.S. humanitarian agency, found that 7 to 10 million people in Yemen are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance, and that of those, many of those could simply be at risk of dying. Now, the situation in the country has been steadily worsening ever since the Saudi-led incursion began almost 2 years ago. In fact, according to the United Nations, Yemen is now suffering one of the worst hunger crises on the planet. Many are resorting to desperate measures just to try and eat. An estimated 2 million children are in urgent need of help. And a newly released report by Human Rights Watch sums up the atrocities committed during this war.
Dozens of coalition airstrikes indiscriminately or disproportionately killed and wounded thousands of civilians in violation of the laws of war. The coalition also used internationally banned cluster munitions. None of the states party to the conflict carried out meaningful investigations into their forces' alleged violations.
The Saudis have received a significant amount of their military hardware from the UK. And since the start of the bombing campaign, the UK has sold over £2 billion worth of aircraft and drones, over £1 billion worth of bombs and missiles, and nearly £500,000 of armoured vehicles and tanks. It has also admitted that in the 1980s, hundreds of cluster bombs were sold to Riyadh, and they are now banned under international law. The issue of weapons sales to the Saudis was debated again in the UK Parliament this week.
We have to put political pressure on the Saudis to come to the negotiating table, to reduce the scale of their bombing, to move towards some kind of ceasefire, and to do it properly.
So let's just talk about the conflict. This has been presented against Saudi Arabia, against the people of Yemen. Yeah. What an absolute load of garbage. No wonder the country's in poverty. And we're allowing these people to get away with it.
Once the British government, that's the simplest thing, you know, that's even more modest a request of HM government than suspending arms sales temporarily, and you won't even do that.
Now, the editor of the Pan-African Newswire, Abayomi Azikiwe, gave us his thoughts on why world powers continue to support Saudi Arabia despite its deadly campaign in Yemen.
19 million people right now are living under dire circumstances inside the country. Lack of power facilities, a lack of clean water, the absence of adequate food supplies. Millions of people have been displaced. At least 11,000 people have been killed. Tens of thousands of more have been injured. We talk about the area in the south of the country, which now is facing near famine. United States, Britain, and the NATO countries, they feel as if they have a vested interest in, of course, supporting Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf Cooperation Council states who have been carrying out this war. They view it as a war against Iranian influence in the Persian Gulf.